Catholics' perennial position and commitment to the kingship of Christ in America, for example, to a constitutional amendment, perhaps, of declaring Christ king, and to use some of the language from our apostolic mandate that Pius X wrote about, when he was dealing with the people in France, I'm just trying to recall, he referred to them ceasing to call themselves Catholics, but referred to democracy.
Okay, we've got Eric. Eric, I think I've got it. I've got to move on, but I'll let Jody quickly respond to that. This notion of declaring the kingship of Christ upon the nation, I mean, this is something that Richard probably would not support, yes?
No, not at all. He would have thought that this was a fundamentally un-American idea, precisely because America is not a Catholic country, and we're a country born from the rejection of kings. Now, Christ is the king, but he is the king of we as individuals, and thus we are called to something beyond the nation. I think Richard would have seen the changes that happened from Leo XIII on in Catholic social teaching and Catholic understanding, particularly of Vatican II, of democracies and their possibilities for allowing Catholic life to flourish. I think Richard would have seen the sort of movement to have an American constitutional amendment to declare Christ the King as a retrograde movement.
Mm-hmm. George?
I think he would also say, as John Paul II would say, as the Second Vatican Council would say, that that's simply not the business of the state. Mm-hmm. That the state is incompetent to make those sorts of judgments. Mm-hmm. A state that could say Christ is king is a state that could say Charles III or George VII or whatever, right, the son of Queen
Mohammed or whoever.
Or Mohammed or Oprah Winfrey is queen. I mean, it's
we're almost there,
not
George,
in
so
the
careful.
The deeper point is that the state is incompetent to make theological judgments. Mm-hmm. The guys who can't fix the potholes should not be settling with theological arguments. This is important to recognize because it puts the state in its proper place. Mm-hmm. State is important for certain functions, but it does not have the capacity to make the judgment that Christ is king. Mm.